Hello and welcome to Sad Times, the podcast by sad people for sad people. I'm your host, Alyssa. And I'm so excited for this episode, for this podcast, for everything. I have so much to discuss. Let's try to reel it in. Let's start with some disclaimers. One, I talk so much. I talk so fucking much. So that's just a warning for you. I over-explain things. I'm going to give you 50 different side stories when I'm trying to explain something. So I'm sorry about that in advance. I'm very self-aware, but I just want to make sure you have all the information, you know? Yeah. I feel like there was another disclaimer I was going to make. It'll come to me maybe. Okay, let's get into this. Actually, before I really get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to Matt O'Leary. He is the radio station manager at my school, and he hyped me up and gave me the validation to start this podcast. So thank you to Matt. Also thank you to my friends and I guess my family for also encouraging me and validating me in starting this podcast, because I don't know. If you know me, then you're probably not shocked that I'm starting a podcast, because I feel like I've always toyed with the idea of starting a YouTube channel or starting a podcast. So yeah, it's not shocking, but still, I don't know. But yeah. So thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone else. Yeah, let's get this show on the road. I've had a radio show at my school for the past couple years called Emo Hour, and I kind of started it on a whim, and I wound up falling in love with having a radio show. I love curating the show every week, coming up with the songs I'm going to play, the order in which I'm going to play them, what I'm going to talk about, how it can tie to this and this, and I don't know. I fell in love with doing it, and I wasn't expecting to, and it kind of, not to be really fucking cheesy, but it kind of changed my life. I don't know. I went into my school for audio, and I still that's still my concentration is audio recording, but was not thinking about radio at all. And now it's kind of what I want to do, or something in that space. So yeah, I found out last semester that I was graduating this upcoming semester. Don't come for me that I didn't know I was graduating. That's a whole other fucking story. And I was really bummed that Emo Hour is going to be coming to an end. It's going to be starting its last season, when I go back to school. So, I kind of just wanted to reinvent it, I guess. So I decided to start Sad Times, the podcast, which is a spin-off of Emo Hour, the radio show. Yeah, when that starts back up again, I'll let you guys know. You can listen to that too if you wanted to hear me talk even more than this, which is probably not the case. I think this might be a limit for a lot of you guys. But yeah, on the show I really just play sad music for an hour and talk about it. Talk about, the latest indie music that's coming out, or a new music video, or tours, or whatever. So this is just the sequel, I guess, to that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very passionate about music and the music that I like. So having a place to discuss it has been, I don't know, really fun for me. Also, becoming a part of the Twitter indie community, in a very small part. I'm not going to say I'm influential in any way. But that's also been very beneficial to me, because I feel like it's opened the door to find so many other artists, or to find TV shows and movies and stuff like that. When you're just surrounded by like-minded people. I don't know. It's been really great. So discovering indie music in this whole world has just opened my eyes to so many different things. And yeah, I know that sounds really, really, really fucking cliche, and really cheesy, but it's true. So yeah, this is just a place to discuss all of that stuff. Yeah. A little bit more about me. Like I said, my name is Alyssa. I'm 23 years old. from Long Island, New York, which is very bittersweet, but we'll get into that maybe another time. This episode, I really wanted to take to talk about the music that came out in 2020. Obviously, 2020 was a very difficult year for several different reasons. I won't harp on it too much because, we all know what happened. But I try my best. It's not always successful, but to find the positive parts of things. And definitely a silver lining of 2020 was the music that came out, at least in my opinion. I don't know. I feel like every year I'm just getting more and more excited about music like that comes out. Like I'm always looking forward to an album. I'm always looking forward to, a new artist that's being launched or something like that. So 2020 was no exception to that, is what I'm trying to say. Some of my most anticipated albums were coming out this year and fucking delivered. But we're hold on a second. I'm gonna get ahead of myself. I tried to be somewhat organized with this. And at first I was trying to be like chronological. It's just impossible. But I'm going to start with like some like singles and then get into some EPs and then to some albums. So, the first song I want to discuss was released right at the beginning of 2020 and it was, by La 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 La, and it's called Legs Run. And if you've never heard of La 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 before, they're an amazing band. I discovered them about 2 years ago now when they were opening up for Better Oblivion Community Center. And I feel like more recently, over the last couple years, I've been like really exposed to some amazing artists because of opening acts. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't pay attention to opening acts because I was just like ignorant and didn't give a shit. Sorry, but it's true. But over the past couple years, like I said, I've discovered some real gems by just fucking paying attention. And I remember being at the Better Oblivion show and watching La 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 perform. And a lot of their songs are really short. So like they were able to play more songs during their set. Like it seemed longer than it was just because there were so many songs, and I was just like, this is so fucking good. Like, and I went home and fell in love with them and looked them up, and Siren 042 wound up being one of my favorite songs of 2019. So yeah, I was very excited that they were releasing new music, and they released a couple of songs throughout 2020. But Legs Run, oh my God, it's different. I feel like it's definitely different than their other songs, their other music that they've put out. I don't know. It starts off very, very slow. And once those drums kick in, oh my God, just so good. So, I mean, I do go to school for audio, so I am a little bit of an audio nerd. I don't know everything at all, but I definitely can be an audio nerd. But I remember when I was listening to that song for the first time, just something about the way the drums are mixed on that song, like, it's just top tier for me. I don't know. I fucking love this song. And I'm so excited for whatever music they come out with in the future. I know Lily West tweets all the time that she's working on an album and new songs or whatever, and I don't know when it will come out, and that's fine. I'm, no rush ever, but I'm very excited. Big fan of La 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 La. I feel like as a songwriter, Lily West has a very interesting point of view, and I think that's very obvious on their album, The Lamb. Like, I think if you listen to that, you can hear. Even just looking at the track list, it's just so, I don't know. I really think that she's such a cool songwriter, and she has such an interesting voice. And yeah, big La 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 fan. So starting the year off with that was magnificent. Let's get into some more La 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 La. They also released 2 songs with the band Grapetooth. One was called Fantasy Movie. One was called Valentine. Loved Fantasy Movie. Valentine was also very good, but Fantasy Movie was just like the quintessential I have a crush song. Like, just, oh my God, it was just so good. That was my bop for like a while. I just think that they've done collaborations in the past, like Siren 042, like I said before, was like one of my favorite songs of 2019. That's their collab with Y. So they do collabs quite often, but I loved that one. I wish that it was released on a 7-inch because like the style of the artwork, it looked like it would have been like a 7-inch. I wish that it was really released as one because I love that. Oh, also I have a record addiction. Constantly buying records. So yeah, in my mind, I'm just like always thinking about, oh, that'd be sick on vinyl. Because I'm not pretentious, I guess. But whatever. And also they released a song called Heaven towards the end of the year. That was another collab as well. They released that on a flexi disc. That was my first time buying a flexi disc. And that's like another really great song. So like we have 4 solid La 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 songs, most of them collaborations. And it was great. Loved it. One of my other favorite singles that were released in 2020, this is, like I said, this is not chronological at all. This happened way later in the year, but it was by Charlie Hickey and his song, No Good at Lying. I was waiting for this song to be released for so long because I remember it had to have been Marshall War or someone like that. Went to one of his shows once, probably at the Bootleg, and they were just recording a bunch of his set on his Instagram stories. And I remember hearing the line, "I'm no good at lying on my back or through my teeth," and thinking that it was like such a good fucking lyric. And I was waiting for this to come out. I just could not wait for this song to be released because I don't know, I just thought it was so good. Fast forward, he wound up playing this song with Phoebe. I think it was at the Troubadour when she did her little show for Save Our Stages. Is that what it was? I could be wrong. That's embarrassing. I should fact check myself. Yes, it was live at the Troubadour for the Save Our Stages Fest. She brought a bunch of people out, and Charlie Hickey was one of the people that she brought out, and they sang the song together, and I was just like, yes. And then, like, I think it was literally a week later, he released the song, and I don't know, I love it. Now, was it this song? Well, the point I'm trying to make is that, like, this is, like, really fucked up, but most of the songs most of the artists I listen to are female. I feel like sometimes it takes a lot for me to resonate with songs by men. I know that sounds like kind of fucked up, but I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. But I love this song. I'm very excited for whatever Charlie Hickey puts out this year. He's actually supposed to release a new song, I think, within the next couple days or the next week or something. He just posted something on Instagram the other day. So I'm very excited for that. I think that he has a really cool voice. And yeah, so Phoebe Bridgers also did background vocals on that song, which is great. I know some people think that he might be, conspiracy theory. I'm not saying this is true, but some people think that he might be signed to Satisfactory, which is Phoebe's record label that she announced in the past year. Possible, who knows? But they're good friends. He does all his music with Marshall Vore, who's Phoebe's best friend, drummer, ex-boyfriend. But yeah, that's a great song. No good at lying. But the lyric, I'm no good at lying on my back or through my teeth, but I'm good at dreaming. I'm so good at dreaming. Oh, I don't know. I fucking love that song. Another one-off song I'll mention because I honestly did not listen to the full album. I don't really listen to the 1975, but of course I listened to their song with Phoebe Bridgers, Jesus Christ 2005, God Bless America, which just sounds like that's like the definition of lyrics that sound like shit posts, which is probably one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Just that there should be another one that's like song titles that sound like shit posts. But this is a really, really great song. I know some 1975 songs. I'm not like a huge stan, so I don't want to like pretend that I am. But they do have great music. I'm not gonna lie. But I loved this song. I think that I know Matty Healy's like problematic, so I don't want to like praise him too much, but I think that him and Phoebe's voices sound really great together. And yeah, I don't know. Phoebe can do background vocals on any song. I'm like, oh my God, amazing. But no, I honestly did love the collaboration. And of course, 2020 forced concerts to be canceled. I was supposed to see the 1975 Phoebe and Biba Doobie at Madison Square Garden, which would have been so fucking iconic. But it was canceled, which is fine. You know, there are way more, there are way bigger things to worry about in the pandemic besides me not going to a concert. But yeah, so I didn't listen to the full album. I think I listened to a couple other songs, but I honestly did not listen to it. I'm not gonna lie. But I loved that song, and I think that live probably would have been great. I think it suited Phoebe's style really well, but also didn't sound like too far off of the 1975. I think it was a good fit. Sometimes collaborations don't make sense, but that was actually really good. A break from like indie music, I guess, because it's definitely more pop, but Forever by Fletcher was released in 2020, which was probably one of my favorite pop songs of 2020. Like, so fucking good. Like, that song, I was just like, I wish I could just like shake my ass to this right now, but we are, you know, quarantining. But such a good song. And she released an EP, which I'll talk about in a little while, but Fletcher is a great queer, you know, pop artist right now, which I love. Pop music, as much as obviously indie music is like, I guess, my number one, pop music is incredible and so can be so powerful and influential. And I think she's an artist that's doing a great job in pop music. And I'm super excited to see, where she goes also in the future. But Forever, yes, an amazing song. Just like, so, I don't know. It's just one of those songs that just makes you want to dance. And there's also a strip version, which was something I played on Emo Hour because that fit my, the vibe more. Love when an artist release like a stripped version of a song. Like, we also had Big Thief release Love Is Mine, which was like an outtake from their albums the previous year. They said that they loved it, and it just didn't fit on either album. Those albums, of course, are UFOF and Two Hands. Big Thief is probably my favorite, is like one of my favorite bands, without a doubt. I think that Adrian Lenker is so fucking good at songwriting. There are a lot of things that I say all the time on Emo Hour, like almost every episode. But now none of you guys have heard that, so I can say it all now and pretend that I'm saying it for the first time. Adrian Lenker, I think, is like when it comes to like stylistically, like the coolest vocalist. Like, I think that she has such a cool vocal style, and I feel like Big Thief in general, like they have so many songs that are like soundtrack worthy. This is something I also discuss on Emo Hour all the time. Like songs that you hear and you're instantly like, that should be in a soundtrack. Like, they have so many songs like that. And this song was no exception. They're recording now, so who knows, maybe it seems like we're going to get another double album from them, like we did in 2019. But, and I'm so excited for that, I think, because like, I don't know, they're just geniuses. Everything they do is just so smart. Also kind of pop, we had some really good Billie Eilish songs come out. I'm not a huge, I really think Billie Eilish is so good, but I don't know her music, so I don't want to like claim to be like a stan or anything. But specifically My Future, I loved. I thought it was so good. I think she's another person that has a really interesting point of view as a writer. Like, you hear her songs and you're just like, whoa. Like, I don't know. I think she's an incredible songwriter. I think Phineas is an amazing producer. I think them working together is like so cool. Like that brother-sister dynamic. I think that's sick. That she's gonna release like more incredible music. And like, she's so young, which blows my mind. I'm like, imagine if I had that fucking talent at that age. But I'm 23, about to kick the bucket. We also cannot go without mentioning Bodies by Muna. That was an amazing fucking banger. Them and the Knox released that. That's just another song that just like makes you want to dance. I love Muna so much. I think that they are so important within the music scene. I think they have a very powerful voice for the LGBTQ community, And I just love all the platforms that they take. I don't know. I think it's important that artists, especially in this political climate. I mean, now we're past Inauguration Day, and Trump is no longer president, but still, that doesn't change anything. I think politics are still very, very important, more than they ever have been. And I personally think I like when artists take stands and use their platforms to discuss things like that. And I think Muna is a band that does that all the time. And I think it's, because they are, you have someone like Naomi in the band who's trans, non-binary, who is black, and that's important. You know what I mean? Because as much as I think I try to be as self-aware as I can and socially aware. Like the music industry, a lot of the music industry, is white, and that's an issue. You know what I mean? Like that's something that's like the Grammys. How many times do they have to be accused for being racist? How many times do they have to be accused for being sexist? Like the music industry. Well, I guess I should say the entertainment industry, because the representation in movies and TV are no better. But that's important. That's like, it's important to have representation and stuff like that. So I think that Muna is a very important group, I think, to help open people's minds to things and stuff like that. I also want to talk about Green Eyes by Arlo Parks. That was another song that I was like really digging in the fall. Claro helped with that song, play some guitar, does some harmonies. That was another really, really great song. Oh, and of course we got a brand new Julian Baker song at the end of last year. Now we have another single on top of it, but we got Faith Healer, and we have a Julian Baker album coming next month, and it is different than anything she's done before. Julian Baker is like the first indie artist I really got into, and from her I kind of jumped onto everybody else that I like now. But I mean, you have her first album, Sprained Ankle, which is just her and her guitar, pretty much. There's like very light percussion in one of the songs. Then you have Turn of the Lights, which is her guitar and her piano, some violin. And now you have this album, Little Oblivions, coming out with a full band, and it's crazy, and like it doesn't feel out of place for her at all. Like if you know about Julian Baker, you know that she started out doing in bands and stuff like that. She fits right in, but it's so crazy. It sounds so good, and it just sounds so right, and I'm very, very excited. I think that she has literally some of the saddest songs I've ever heard in my life. Like, so raw, so emotional, yet these sound like they're just next level. They're so good. These two songs that have come out, Hardline and Faith Healer, and I'm just like, just knowing that these are just the singles, like this is just gonna scratch the surface. Really, I'm so excited to hear the full album. I think that she is probably like the most intellectual artist I think I listen to. Like when you hear her in interviews, there are always tweets like every time that she does an interview. I saw a tweet last week. She did her KEXP interview and sessions and stuff like that, and someone tweeted, they were like, well, watching the Julian interview, like I need to go get out my dictionary or something like that. Like she's just so fucking smart, and the way that she, like, hearing her and just like hearing her music, like it's just like, oh my god, like the things that she says and like some of the metaphors she uses and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my god, like fucking definition of a megamind is Julian Baker. Like she's just so fucking smart, and I'm so excited for that for her music, her album, I should say. I cannot go without discussing the infamous Iris cover by Maggie Rogers and Phoebe Bridgers. This was so fucking iconic. They released it on Bandcamp for 24 hours, and it wound up breaking records and charting and all this stuff. They were raising money for Fair Fight, which was great. Once again, those are also two artists. I don't want to actually. Most of the artists I talk about have used their platforms, especially throughout 2020, for various different things. But they were raising money for Fair Fight, and they wound up, raising a bunch of money for Fair Fight, and that cover is just so fucking good. I feel like so many different artists sound good singing that song. Like I watched Snail Mail cover that song, and she covers it really, really well. It fits her voice perfectly. Oh, I saw 21 Pilots cover that song. That was also really, really good. Yeah, Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, can't go wrong. But that was an iconic cover that came out this year that the indie gays went crazy for, and that's really that's my niche. The indie gays are where is really my my posse, I should say. I'm going to transition to a couple EPs, and I'm going to start with Troye Sivan's In a Dream EP, and this also is kind of a single, but the song Easy that was on the EP was always one of my favorites, and then he released a remix with Casey Musgraves, which was so fucking good. Like, oh my god, it was so good. I think the two of them together sounded so good. I think she looked so hot in the music video. And that EP overall was great. I loved the leading single, Take Yourself Home. Stud is a bop. I really, really love Troye Sivan. His last album, Bloom, came out in 2018. It was one of my top albums of 2018. Honestly, it might be one of my favorite albums, like, ever. I think it's, like, incredible. So excited to see what the music he comes out with in the future. I talked about Fletcher before. She also had her EP Sex Tapes come out, which was so good. You have a song like Bitter on it, which is like a bop. Like that's also probably one of my favorite pop songs of 2020. And yeah, she's just so good. And it's very bold to release an EP about your ex and then have your ex star in the music videos. Very, very bold, but good for her. Like I said, I know I'm going to forget so many things. Indigo Violet by Coin was another really amazing EP. A lot of the people I follow on Twitter are huge Coin stans. I never really listened to them before that, but I listened to some of Dreamland, and I listened to this EP, and You Are the Traffic was like, I was very intrigued by the song title, and when I listened to it, I was like, this is so fucking good. But that whole EP is amazing. Coin is really, really good. Okay, so these next two EPs I'm going to talk about also were released by people who released albums. Or next three EPs, I should say. Soccer Mommy released her Soccer Mommy and Friends EP collection, and then she also released her demo collection for songs from Color Theory, which was the album that she put out early last year. The Soccer Mommy and Friends EP was initially started to raise money for COVID relief for, bands and crews and stuff like that. And then it wound up also going towards various BLM charities. And Soccer Mommy was someone who was very, very vocal about during the Black Lives Matter movement. Like she didn't tweet or post anything on her Instagram story that wasn't related to Black Lives Matter for months, which I found cool because like we're so used to things disappearing so quick, like something big happens and then like after a week people are like, okay, anyway, so buy my album or whatever, and like she didn't care about that. She was very self-aware of everything that was going on, and just pushed for everyone to just do what they could to help, during that time, go to protests and marches and donate to all these different causes and things like that. And I think that was really great. She wound up covering I Think You're All Right by J-Som, and then J-Som covered Lucy. She covered Indie Rockers by MGMT, and then Gentle Dom did a remix of Circle the Drain. She covered Drive by The Cars. Her and Biba Doobie both released demos, one of their songs each. And it was great. I loved it. I can't even tell you the amount of times I screamed her cover of Drive by The Cars in my car. Incredible. I love Soccer Mommy. We're gonna get to that in a second. Then she also released a bunch of her demos from Color Theory, like I said, and that was great. I love hearing demos because I feel like it's always so interesting to see where a song begins and then how you hear it on the album. Especially a song like Yellow is the Color of Her Eyes, which is like this like 7 minute like epic song, and just hearing it like her on like an acoustic guitar just like playing it was just like crazy. So yeah, that was sick. Lastly, in the EP section, you had Phoebe's Copycat Killer EP, which is her and Rob Moose performing 4 orchestral arrangements of Punisher songs, which was incredible. Just thinking about hearing an orchestral version of any song is like, you're like, whoa. And then like Punisher was such an incredible album. So to hear like versions like that of those songs were so cool. And I loved it. And it's like, it's one of those things where like, I don't want to say like I like this version more than that version. Like they're both they're so completely different that it's almost like you're listening to like new songs. You know what I mean? Like it's just so different. It gives you a completely different experience. I don't know which order I should talk about albums. I'm gonna start by just listing a bunch of albums that I like, and then I'll go back and talk about some highlights. Once again, I know that I'm forgetting things. I know I'm going to forget things in this list as well, but just too much came out. You had Punisher, you had Color Theory, you had The Baby by Samia, you had Breach by Fen Lily, you had Beginners by Christian Lee Hudson, you had Down the Weeds Where the World Once Was by Bright Eyes, you had Petals for Armor by Hayley Williams, you had Fake of Flowers by Biba Doobie. My mind is just going. You had the Sylvanesso album. There's so many fucking albums that came out. Punisher and Color Theory are like neck and neck for my favorite albums of 2020. Soccer Mommy was my most played artist of 2020, actually. From like, I want to say February to like, I don't even know, maybe July, literally all I listened to was Soccer Mommy. I wish that was an exaggeration. Like, I listened to her like constantly. Like, no joke, I'm a big Last.fm user. Last year, my top artist was Soccer Mommy, and just last year I had 3,812 scrobbles of Soccer Mommy, just to give you an idea of how much I listened to her. And then number 2 is Phoebe Bridgers, and I had 1,517 scrobbles of Phoebe Bridgers. But yeah, the Soccer Mommy one was crazy. I literally could not stop listening to her. And I thought the Color Theory was an incredible album. One thing I don't like doing is like rating albums. Like I feel like that's so arbitrary. Like if I feel like if I like it, I like it. Like I feel weird being like, well, it's like a 9 out of 10. Like who the fuck am I to say that? But that was an amazing album. I think that the concepts of the colors were really smart. I think that the sequencing of the album was like perfect. Some standout tracks for me were definitely Bloodstream. That's like an all-time favorite Soccer Mommy song. Like that's up there for me. Loved Crawling in My Skin. I mentioned Yellow is the Color of Her Eyes before, but even when that came out as a single, I was like, holy fuck. Like that song is incredible. But like I said, Punisher is right. It's like they're like neck and neck for me. Personally, I feel like Color Theory like didn't get as much attention as it should have because it came out right before the pandemic, and I feel like I don't know, people didn't pay it enough attention. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased, but I just thought that the album was so fucking good. And she deserved more praise for it because also it's very clear that she's discussed it too, that she took a lot of influence from like 2000s pop, and the fact that you can like hear that on the album is like so impressive to me, like because it's so refreshing, but you can hear that, like you have that like nostalgic element of it. I think it's just I don't know, so good. But Punisher, let's discuss Punisher. This was my most anticipated album of 2020 without a doubt. I was so excited that Phoebe Bridgers was releasing a new album because she's been my favorite artist for a while now. And when she released those 3 singles, and I was like, and they were all pretty different from each other. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And I remember it leaked a couple nights before it came out, and I listened to the leak. I'm not going to lie to you, but I also have like fucking 3 or 4 vinyls of it. Like I bought it. I buy every fucking merch thing that comes out because I live in her ass. So yeah, I listened to the leak, okay? And I'm gonna be honest with you. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is so good. I don't even know, like, I think every song, literally every song is so good. It's impossible for me to pick favorites. If I had to, Savior Complex, I Know the End, Halloween, I like just list the whole track list. No, but it's so good. I think that it is very different from Stranger in the Alps. Like, Stranger in the Alps is definitely more folk driven, more acoustic. She's definitely more experimental on Punisher, but like it doesn't feel, it's similar to Julian, where like it doesn't feel out of place. Like it feels right. It feels like it felt like the logical next step for her. Like I don't know. Sometimes when artists take a step in a new direction, you're like, ooh, you know what I mean? But this didn't feel like that at all. Like, it felt very normal to have her using synths and these like, or you have a song like I Know the End, which literally has this tremendous build up, and she's literally screaming, and I'm just like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. But yeah, I just know every song on that album is so amazing, and to have songs like Graceland 2 with Boy Genius, and you're just like, and it's about like friendship, and it's like so powerful, but then you have like these like, you know, gut-wrenching songs like Halloween, you know, like these breakup songs, or, you know, you're just like, fuck. But I don't know. Punisher is just, I have a Punisher tattoo, actually. Maybe I'll show that to you one episode. But it was such a phenomenal album, and it kicked Phoebe like into this whole new stratosphere. Now she's Grammy nominated. The amount of nods that she got for this album is just tremendous. Absolutely deserving, by the way. She's done so much in her career, and she's so young. Like, it's her second solo album. Of course, she did Boy Genius. She did Better Oblivion Community Center. She's done so many different collaborations. You know what I mean? She's had collaborations with Lord Huron, the 1975. Obviously Boy Genius. She did another collab with Conor Oberst this year, Miracle of Life for Planned Parenthood. I'm like blanking, but she's done so many collaborations. Now she has her own record label. It's crazy what she accomplished in this year, especially in a year like 2020 where you can't tour and you can't really do the things you want to do. But she did an amazing job at getting creative in the ways that she released content, whether it was performing, you know, in her bedroom, her tour around her house. She sold tour merch where it was like kitchen, bedroom, you know, whatever, or, you know, to no audience at Red Rocks, which was fucking amazing. I can watch that concert over and over again. I just love Phoebe Bridgers. I can do a whole podcast episode just about her. Seriously, like, one of the hardest working people in the indie music scene. I mean, she even produced Christian Lee Hudson's album Beginners, and she's probably going to produce something. I heard there was talks that she's like probably going to produce another album really soon. So yeah, very excited for that. Loved Punisher, loved Color Theory. The other albums I mentioned I loved as well. I loved The Baby by Samya. Some standout tracks are Is There Something in the Movies, Big Wheel, Triptych, Breach by Fen Lily. I loved I Used to Hate My Body, Now I Just Hate You, I Nietzsche, Berlin, Elliot, Birthday. So good. Loved the Bright Eyes album as much as I don't want to admit it. I used to hate Conor Oberst's voice, but now it's grown on me because of Better Oblivion Community Center. Now I like can stand it. But like, that's a really good album too. Very apocalyptic. That and Punisher, they always talk about it. Very apocalyptic albums, and it was perfect for 2020 as well. But yeah, 2020 had such great music, and 2021 is already delivering. I already have my 2021 playlist going on Spotify of the music that we already got. I mean, like I said, we're getting a Julian Baker album next month. We're getting a Claude album next month. Snail Mail is probably going to be releasing an album this year. Claro might be releasing an album this year. There's just so much music that's to come. But I think that's where I'm going to leave this episode. I've been talking for a while now. But I want to end every episode with a song of the day. And these are songs that I'm bumping currently, bumping very loosely because it's probably like going to be a depressing song. And the song I'm going to choose today is Christian Lee Hudson's cover of Dancing Queen. He did this for, he released like a couple different covers. With this, he also released a cover of 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, classic, and Betty by Taylor Swift. But Dancing Queen spoke to me because if you know me, then you know that I have an affinity for Dancing Queen, specifically the Mamma Mia 2 version. And so to have like an indie emo version of Dancing Queen was just like incredible. So that's what I'm bumping. That's what I suggest that you go and listen to this week. And thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of Sad Times, the podcast. My name is Alyssa, and stay kind and stay sad.